My name is Meredith Burrow, and my husband Todd and I have 3 girls, Allie, Tegan, and Meg. Our youngest, Meg, just passed away this past August with a rare genetic condition. The condition affected everything from her motor skills to her speech to being able to eat, just being able to do everyday life tasks. So Meg spent a lot of time with Carilion Children's.
When I think about the Burrow family, I think about how important family-centered care is. Their family was all in for Meg. They were always ready and willing to get Meg the best care that they could, and that brought them to Carilion Children's quite a bit.
I had the pleasure of working with Meg for almost 7 years.
I started working with Meg and her family when Meg was about 2 years old.
I began treating Meg around COVID when I took over for her regular speech therapist. It took a few months before I actually met her in person because our first several months were over video.
I met Meg about 10 years ago here in our physical therapy department.
I started working with Meg when she was a baby.
I first met the Burrows when Meg came in last year for her spinal surgery, and I volunteered to take them because I came from the adult world and I knew Dr. Carmouche's surgeries intensely, and I knew how to take care of his patients, so I was like, oh, it's a Carmouche patient, like, sign me up. And I spent the next 2 weeks with the Burrows, just kind of taking care of Meg and getting to know Meredith and Todd and Allie and Tegan and the entire Burrow clan, and there are a lot of people in their clan, and they are all so invested in taking care of her, so we just fell in love with Meg and the Burrows. And then how did you meet her? Was it the same time with the spinal surgery?
With the spinal surgery.
Yes.
I was in there with you.
Yes.
Meredith decorated the room in lots of pink.
Yes. Oh my
Lots
gosh.
of pink.
It was like a pink explosion. She brought
And all the
clothes and
bows.
shams from home, and Todd hung baby dolls from the ceiling rafters, so when Meg looked up, she always saw a baby or some sort of stuffy. Meg loved it. She thought they were flying.
I met Meg 5 years ago.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, on
How? On Pete's.
I was a nursing assistant on Peds, and I met them taking care of her then. They were with me all through nursing school, graduation, became a nurse on the Peds floor, and then I took care of her in the PICU as well.
So we have taken care of her for several years.
Each week, Meg would come in with a huge smile on her face. She loved riding the bicycle.
Most recently, I helped Meg with a refitting of her wheelchair, and Todd was amazing, her dad. He came in and helped brainstorm new ideas, different solutions to get Meg the best seating that we could. And I really appreciate that about Meg's whole family. They were always so invested in everything with that sweet girl. And Todd, if you ever want to brainstorm about equipment or wheelchair in the future, give me a call.
Meg was an absolute joy. I got the privilege of working with her as a baby, and she was the happiest, most determined little girl. As a physical therapist, while we try to make it fun, we ask our kiddos to do really hard things, so we're not always the favorite. But her smile every time I showed up to work with her was a testament to her sweet, loving, and determined personality. I remember the first time that she cruised along the back of the sofa, all the way from the hallway to her front door. She stood there so proud looking outside, and that's the moment I knew that she was going to change the world. And she did.
One of my favorite memories of Meg is watching her and her family have a blast at our family camp at the Smith Mountain Lake 4-H Center. We used to host a family camp every weekend for our children who were treated throughout the Carilion Children's system and their families, and this allowed them a chance to just be together outside and engage in really fun family activities, and just for the kids to just be kids. And seeing Meg's beautiful smile light up when she was in the great outdoors, and seeing the petting zoo animals or the horses, or just getting to ride around on the golf cart and get to experience just a campfire with her family. Those memories are ones I hold close.
I remember the first time I met Meg and her family, it was many years ago. She came in for a procedure and she had her signature bow on and her parents were all smiles, but Meg was a bit nervous. When I asked for ideas on how to make her feel more comfortable, they mentioned that she loves singing happy birthday. I knew from the start I was going to get along so well with Meg because we both love birthdays and bows.
And then of course bath time with music. She hated washing her hair, but we always convinced her to do it because we would play Trolls music or the birthday song or I Pledge Allegiance, which was her favorite. I don't know, that or Happy Birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
It was everybody's birthday.
Everybody's birthday all the time.
She enjoyed playing with lots of different toys, and I always worked to make our therapy sessions play-based. That's a great way to support language development. I always encouraged her to say no and to learn how to say no because she wanted to make you happy and always wanted to do what she was asked to do. But we felt it was really important for her to have that voice to be able to say no, which she did, and it was funny because she would sometimes look to you to make sure it was okay, as if asking permission that she was saying no. So that's one of the biggest things I'll always kind of hold in my heart about remembering about Meg, is that she always tried very hard, even when things were very difficult.
Meg was a ray of sunshine and unconditionally kind to anyone and anything around her. She would light up a room with her smile, and she also had an incredible sense of humor.
One of my favorite memories is Meg going through her box of cards. She would give them to everyone, but wouldn't give them to like her mom, or she'd take it back and put it back in the box. But she was going through because her mom said, "Meg, do you want to give Megan a card?" And she's like, "Yeah." So she starts going through and she sees one and puts it back, and then she pulls out a Christmas one and puts it back, and she pulls out this card with a 6 and it has 6 goats on it. And her mom said, "Is that because Megan's the goat?" And she's like, "Yeah." So that was one of my favorite memories, and I still have that card.
I remember you wore it in your
I wore it in my front pocket when we went to the viewing for Meg. And Todd saw it and pulled it out and smiled and just kind of tucked it back in my shirt. So it was one of those things I'll always keep.
Another thing that I just love about Meg and that will always be a part of me is her beautiful smile and how she could communicate through just a simple word or gesture, and her family knew exactly what she meant and what she needed in the moment. And they were just absolutely tremendous caretakers and loved Meg to the depths of the earth and the ocean.
Through the years, when I met Meg and her family, they maintained a strong united front, working to help Meg climb mountains, but along the way, they always looked for ways to help others climb their mountains too. Meredith, Meg's mom, is a very active member of our family advisory board, and she continues to help bring big smiles to children in the hospital. For one of Meg's big planned surgeries, my coworker Carly and I were able to decorate her room that she would go to after surgery in the pediatric ICU. We had all things pink and rainbow and pretend babies for Meg to take care of when she was feeling up to it.
So we kind of had a lot of back and forth with Meg and her family about how they wanted to proceed going palliative, or if they wanted to take her home. And what would be best for Meg on her last mission. And Meredith and Todd had a lot of difficult conversations with the girls about how to proceed and how to make sure that Meg's last bit of time was the best that it could be. And I think they decided that having her here with us and being in the most positive of environments was the best way to go. So we came up with the Week of Meg. Where we made a list of all of her favorite things, and it just so happened to be on the week of her birthday. So we celebrated her birthday for 3 days, and then we moved on to Christmas?
Halloween. Trick-or-treating.
Trick-or-treating in the
Both
hallway.
dressed up as the dog.
We were Scooby-Doo and she was a puppy.
With a pink bow.
With a huge pink bow, and we convinced several people in the hall to hold candy and let her trick-or-treat, and she very meticulously picked up every single piece of candy out of everyone's hand and put them in her basket before finally finishing up on peds, where she trick-or-treated with the peds nurses and went back to her room, and she took a very long nap, but it was fun. And then we moved on to Christmas. We had 3 Christmas trees.
Oh, that whole room was lit up.
3 Christmas trees, 1 pink one, 2 regular ones. Most of them were probably not be approved by Jaco if they saw them, but they were very Meg, so we totally went with it.
She wanted to make you happy. She wanted to do what she was asked. She typically always had a smile on her face, and when she didn't, you knew she wasn't feeling great. She always wanted to do what she was supposed to do. So, like I said, even if saying a certain sound was hard or performing a certain action was difficult, she always worked really hard and tried her best. We just had fun. We had so much fun playing in our sessions. She would always come in with the cutest outfit and a big bow in her hair, and baby dolls dressed to the nines, and we always had to talk about what the baby was wearing, and there's lots of great ways we incorporated that into our play and our activities.
I will never look at bows or baby dolls and not think of that beautiful girl, and I always appreciated the way she kept a smile on her face regardless of what she was going through.
Meg loved coming to therapy, and when she did, she would come with her arms full of her babies, and she would bring her lunchbox that she had packed herself most days. Sometimes though, on special occasions, Meg would like to bring treats, so we would decorate cookies or make ice cream sundaes as a way to work on chewing and swallowing her food. Frequently, Meg would choose to bring her favorite food though, chicken, fries, and a Coke. I'll never forget after Meg's big surgery last year having a picnic with her where we got to have chicken, fries, and a Coke.
She loved puppies and bringing her dolls to therapy, and so we always tried to find creative ways to incorporate those into our sessions.
She also loved puppies. So when I was given the opportunity to train with a St. Francis facility dog, I knew I had to do it in honor of Meg. Me and Wally are going to continue to motivate these kids to get on their feet, get on the bike, and to keep smiling.
Oh, we have to tell you about the time where we were petitioning Todd for a puppy.
The puppy petition.
It was like the couple of days before her birthday.
Yes.
And she really wanted a puppy, and we really wanted her to have a puppy, so we found out that Meredith was like talking to the people who had a puppy named Elvis, and Todd was not on board, but the rest of the girls were. And so we had Sarah, our child life person, print up a petition for Meg to have a puppy, and we had everybody in the PICU sign it, and we probably forged several people's names as well. We did. But
bombarded Todd with it
when Todd came back, we showed him our petition, and I think they were totally going to do it, but then they ended up staying the next couple of weeks with us, so I don't think they actually ever got Elvis, but we had the room covered in Elvis pictures, real Elvis, with like the 50s hairdo and everything, so that Todd couldn't avoid the inevitable, but that was one of my favorites, I think.
She had a huge family, not just her biological family, but also the family here at Carilion Children's, and we are so grateful to have known Meg and to have had the opportunity to love her and love her family, and yeah, I'm just really grateful that she was a part of my life too.
Thanks for letting us take care of you and being the perfect princess, even when you were sassy about it. I know you are having a constant birthday party with all of the cake and pizza and chicken nuggets that you can stomach, and I'm sure you're surrounded by a field of Elvises, and I can't wait to see you.
Every person she met has been blessed by her in some way, and she has definitely changed me as a person and a physical therapist.
Our team have all worked with Meg, and we all love her and her family, and we're excited to try and find ways to make these challenging situations a little bit easier for their family. And that is what we want to do for all our families. We just want to help make Carilion feel more like home.
We miss you. You've changed all of our lives, and it was an honor taking care of you.
Meg inspired me early on as a therapist to have a strong work ethic, to be present in the moment in every session, and to be patient, flexible, and adaptable with each of my patients. Meg inspired and continues to inspire me as a person to be compassionate, empathetic, and kind to others, to celebrate the little things, and to find joy in the mundane things. The impact that Meg and her family have had and continue to have on my career and in my life is too large to put into words. I will always be grateful and hold a special place in my mind and in my heart for Meg.
Thank you for the joy that you brought to my life and to ours. Everybody up here. You are such a special kiddo, and you never failed to make us smile. Every day was my birthday, and I forgive you for telling Allie that she was your favorite, because we all know that I was the real favorite. And we miss you very, very much.
I hope Meg and her family know what a huge impact they've had on me and the others that they've met throughout the years. And I hope that they can continue to offer and spread that joy to help other kids climb those mountains like Meg did.
I'll miss her every day. I love you, Meg.
We love you, Meg.
Happy birthday, Meg.
Thank you.